Those are a lot more effective when you're not running behind. My dog decided she didn't want to come inside, and I'm waiting for her to come back. Probably pick up where I left off last week, which was character generation. So I was making some monsters for a game I was custom making for a friend. So hopefully that'll work out, but I'm not sure. So today, I think what we're going to do is we're going to check out some of the possible builds for the game. Kind of as a reminder, I've been designing a game for a friend. It's based in Legend of the Five Rings, Oriental Adventure Handbook. Came out 3.5 forever ago. I had a friend who said that he wanted to play in it, but he'd never had the opportunity. And while there has been some controversy as far as like people, not Oriental people for the most part, but people or Asian people or however you want to refer to them. But people white knighting and complaining about the setting being stereotypical. But the thing was that really the people that designed it, a lot of people, was a labor of love. And even though it is a little bit of a controversial setting, there's a lot of wonderful mechanics and wonderful stories and things like that to be told in it. And I started creating this campaign story. It's a one-shot designed to be played in about 6 to 8 hours. So a bit of a longer one, but that's my style. To tell a story and to tell a kind of a meshed story akin to one of my favorite classic samurai movies, The Seven Samurai. So I'm hoping to build this kind of big lore, and I've built a lot of stuff around it already. I have established the main characters. I have established the player characters that the players can play. It can fit up to 6 level 15 characters. So it is a more difficult campaign. Or more difficult one-shot, rather. But it is designed to be... It's designed to tell that story of honor, and it is a little bit stereotypical in that regard, but because I was trying to pay homage to the Seven Samurai, I actually utilized like names out of it and things like that. I altered the setting to make it a little mystical and more magical because the Oriental Adventures Handbook and the Legend of the Five Rings, which is the setting that it's set in, has a blood mage Shadowlands thing that came from it. And what it is essentially this dark, ominous, the dishonor and the bad things are all kind of come out to get and corrupt the honorable societies in the worlds, and it's there's a lot of political stuff in it, which are like political role play opportunities, and a lot of great options as far as like samurai classes. There's a quick draw samurai class that's amazing called an Jutsu master. There's a monk that is called a tattooed monk, and they tattoo themselves and then they become stronger, and monk class is already ridiculous, but then they add in this kind of magical effect. There are blood mages that like summon energies from the actual vitae and the actual blood that is life. And they even go as far as having like some of like the aristocracy, some of the like there's a nobleman class that is designed to guide the country and guide the civilizations and things like that. There's so much cool shit in it, and I don't know how else to put it other than the fact that it was something that I was super excited to play when I got it, and I was super excited to do something with it, really. Because I'm not a great map maker or anything else, I did plan on kind of stealing a couple of maps. Oh, there it is. And I've kind of recreated that as far as like what you can do with that. As you can see, I already kind of have a good start. We did this a little bit last week. As far as making these various samurai just basic monsters. And I was utilizing both some of the books that I have at home, Some of the books I have only in digital format because the 3.5 books are notoriously hard to get a hold of anymore. Because, the game came out in, what was it? It was like 95, I think, was 3.5's launch. I'm not sure. But anyway, little by little, it's gotten a little more... there's so many books, and it's just become harder and harder to get some of them. And some of them, especially like some of them are super easy to find. Like the Oriental Handbook is something you can get pretty easily. All you got to do is really just kind of try. Like you just got to reach out and be like, okay, I want this book, and you can find it at on Amazon or whatever for anywhere from I think I've seen it as cheap as $10, which is sad because it's such a good resource, but it does offer a lot of options, as I said. So what we're going to do here is I'm trying to move something here so I can mess with something, make it a little bit easier. There we go. All right. So what I've got now right now is I've got these shadow monsters, and these are all based around the theme of one particular picture that I will show you here. So this is the picture that it is currently most of these classes and races are based off of right now. But anyway, this is the image of that a lot of these monsters are kind of based off of at the moment. They're samurai. I specifically created 3 or 4 as it stands, as far as just tiers, designed to be kind of more like the chaff that the enemies kind of cut through, or that the samurai are able to cut through as they kind of work their way through and deal with the situation. The Blood Samurai being the weakest of the bunch, and then kind of going up until you get to the Shadow Assassins. And I stopped off at the Shadow Assassins, and they were going to be based off of a different picture that I found that I loved, that was just amazing. I don't know who the artist is, or I would tell you, but I definitely look at this as an opportunity to do something really cool. And I made a base tier samurai, using just the basic abilities. I didn't get as far as doing a description on them because I didn't want to go too far last time. So they've got 5d8 hit points, so they're pretty strong, or they've got decent amount of hit points. They've got a decent amount of, let's go ahead and do this. Go to view, I'm going to go to freeze panes, and I'm going to freeze those panes. That way, yeah, okay, I didn't do it right. All right, let's do it again. I always forget that freeze pane thing does it from the pane to the left, so that, there we go. All right. And then we also want to, oops, well, I don't know if it'll let me do that. Will it let me? Okay, that one's already frozen. So, I've already got that kind of frozen. I just wanted to freeze the stat block so I could look at it. The next thing really for these guys, we've already got a setup as far as their hit die, their initiative, how fast they move. They're pretty freaking fast. They use katanas. We've got the sneak attack. We've got all of that. We've got their saves in as per. So this is already set up very, very much for the pre-existing Monster Manual style setting. The only thing I didn't put in here was description and what they do in combat. For description, I like to do a little bit of flavor, something kind of fun, help with describing it, which I talked about last time a little bit. Let me close this because I don't like the way that glares. There we go. And so what I'm thinking is, given the givens of what these things are, actually I already added them. There they are. I completely forgot I put them on this page. I created I'm just going to relabel this so that I know what it is. Photos. I'm going to call this stats. Okay, I know I can just boom, boom. You go right back between the two. So anyway, what we want to do is kind of my allergies are killing me. I apologize. To create some kind of a feeling for the way they move and what they are. I want to call. I'm going to keep them. Let's see. So, let's see. Dredging themselves up from the shadows. The shadow assassins, and these names are very placeholder. I may do something a little more interesting. I may go in and actually dig out some Japanese words to utilize as names, because I want it to feel real, and I don't want it to feel too contrived. So I might change that a little bit. But as it stands, by the way, I think I figured out what was causing the delay. Was I had Steam open, and it was updating a file, and it was a huge file, specifically updating Cyberpunk. So now that that's caught up with me, which is awesome. Anyway, back to this. So dredging the shadows from the darkness. Let's take this. Just using shadows twice. Through dark corners. I think from the darkness worked. From the darkness. Yeah. From the darkness, the shadow assassins strike without mercy. Called forth from the Shadowlands. Oops, that should be capitalized. Shadowlands. By a blood pact with... okay, this is where I want to look something up, and so I'm going to actually access the information I already have. Go back to my documents, go back to my games. I've got these folders set up like this. Go to 3.5, Legend of 5 Rings, and then I've got the Oriental Handbook. There it is. Oops, here we go. So I got the Oriental Adventurer's Handbook on digital format. I prefer to use hardbound, and I do have paper versions of this book and of several of the others, but it is a little easier to do it this way. And what I wanted to do here is I want to go down to this, and there we go. Classes, Samurai Shogun. I believe, let's see, let's call it, actually, let's do one other thing. Do I have it? I have secrets of the Dragon Cream. I gotta find what I'm looking for. Those are all ninja books. Looks like I don't have a digital form. Oh, they're blood speakers. These would be the Blood Mages. Specific to the adventure that I'm talking about. I'm going to look in here. As you can see, these books were actually really carefully crafted. There's a lot of really fantastic art and story in them. But what we're specifically interested in is Maho and the Taint. We'll just call it a blood speaker. Packed by a pact with a blood speaker. Spur. Yeah, that's a word. These creatures thrive on the pain they inflict on their targets, and those that they affect. It's just a temporary thing. It's not a perfect thing. I like it. I like to keep it, something. I give a little bit of flavor. So, we want these guys to. Usually, in a monster manual, they will specify the kinds of attacks and how those attacks fly out. Because this isn't specifically a monster manual so much as just a description that I'm going to be putting into another book, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to describe the way that they fight. I would much rather say this is how they fight then I would well, in a sword attack they slash this way, and then they also have this to do on top of it. Now these guys, I gave them a sneak attack because I wanted to make sure that they had that ability, and I'm going to make a higher tier Shadow Assassin that is probably going to be a Blood Assassin. I'll probably actually call it a Blood Assassin or something like that, at least temporarily. And that particular creature, I will increase all of these stats because I want them to be one of the higher tier threats, something that you run into one or two of in a campaign or in a session. And maybe they live, maybe they don't. We don't know. But we do know that they offer a legitimate, serious threat. I probably also, a lot of these guys have an aura of corruption, these blood guys. And I'll probably give that same aura of corruption, or add a corruption attack to their snake attack. I think I might do that. Anyway, I get ahead of myself. Go back up here. So we're going to go back to the Blade Ogres. So our Shadow Mages, rather, or Shadow Assassins. What we have next is just talking about, like I said, talking about their attacks. Never found in groups greater than 4 Shadow Assassins. Specialize in guerrilla warfare style tactics, hitting their targets when they are unaware and quickly disappearing back into the shadows. So, one special ability that is not already given to these guys that I think I'm going to go ahead and give them is I think I'm going to give them an ability called Shadow Step. It's a pre-existing ability. It's in a couple of different books. A couple of different monsters have it. It will increase their challenge rating probably keep it about a 6. But what it'll do is allow them to literally step into a shadow and then step back out of another shadow by keeping them into groups of smaller than 2. 2 plus 4. Typo. By keeping them in those smaller groups, the samurais are going to be able to fight them, but it's going to be one of those kind of uphill battles where it's definitely a hit and run. They want to try to get them and take them out as quick as they can, as opposed to toe-to-toe slogging them. One of the key things in most game design, as far as like combat is concerned, is you want to keep things thematic but varied. I'm using a theme of blood and honor in all of the monsters I'm creating for these things. I did use, previously I had pulled up pre-existing stats to kind of get general ideas to make sure that I wasn't overdoing it in any way, shape, or form. And so you create these things, keep them thematic, keep them a challenge. In this case, like I said, it's a challenge. 15 are the samurai, and they're going to be up to 6 of them at any given time. Depending on how big a group you want to run it with. So I want to make sure that these are something that can stand up to that. The best thing to do, I think I'm definitely going to be giving them that ability. I like that ability. Special attacks, I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to put it in special attacks for now because Shadow Step. And then I am going to go down in here. And I am going to go into a thing. Oops. Use it to move unfettered, not unfettered, unhindered to any other shadow within, let's say 30 feet. I think I don't want these things to be able to like just straight up jump. The other thing I don't want them to do is I don't want them to, oops, I don't know why I did that. I don't know, what I also want them to do is I want it to have a limitation. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, in parentheses, I'm going to put 3 per day. So it's a lot, but it's limited. They can't do it endlessly. That way, the players, again, they have that opportunity. Anyway, not really relevant. Just, whatever. So we'll go back into this shadow step, and we'll do 3 per day. 3 per day. As you can see, I am super duper fast and effective when it comes to doing this stuff. So shadow assassins can step between shadows. I can meld into a adjacent to an adjacent shadow and use it to move to any nearby shadow within 30 feet. There. So that is our add-on. Oops, look at all those extra little crap things. All right, go away. All right. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and copy this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste. I want to get the same formatting. All right, so I gave it shadow step. And that'll allow it a quick way to kind of jump between things. Hi, how's it going? Just talking about random D&D stuff, building some monsters here. So, anyway, the next step would be to create the next tier of this thing, because I want to have a couple different tiers, a couple different options. And so the next option would be to make those blood assassins I was talking about a second ago, which would be so we're just going to call them blood assassins. Again, this is still a placeholder. I'm still fairly early on in the generation process. I'm actually going to make them 8d8, which when you average that out, you get 5 hit points per. So 8d8, there's usually 5, so that'd be 40. I'm going to do 8d8 plus 12, so they have 52 hit points, which puts them significantly stronger than their. I can type, I swear. 8d8 plus 12. That will make. I had it in. Okay, there we go. That'll make them significantly stronger than the other ones were, which is okay. I actually really want that. So this actually should say Katano. It should actually. I did this wrong. I just realized this. Did I do it wrong on the other one? No, I just did it wrong on this one. I didn't include his bonus. His dexterity bonus would have been a 18, which is a plus 4. Plus 4 plus his monster level should be a plus 8 to hit. Plus 8. Because we're going to have this one dual wield. Wakizashi. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head exactly how much damage a Wakizashi does, so let's look. 1d6. So here's a Wakizashi. He does 1d6. And that's not going to be there. It's 1d10. Actually, it should be 1d10 plus whatever their dex bonus is. I haven't gotten to the dex bonus yet. Strength. We're going to give them a strength of 14. We're going to do a dexterity of 20. We're going to give a constitution of 14. That justifies the plus 12. All right, so we'll go back to here, back to the intelligence. I think intelligence-wise, we'll make them a little smarter, but I don't think they really need to be that much smarter. Wisdom and dex, or charisma and charisma, I'm going to leave the same. I don't see a reason in raising them, and for that reason, I can't justify it. Now a 20. So hide, he's going to have a 13. Because I increased it by about 5. Move slightly, he's going to have a 15. And spot, he's going to have an 11. So that increases all of those by 5. His sneak attack is going to be, I think I'm going to set it at 66. 66. 66, yeah. I don't care who you are, you're dead. So anyway, I actually want to change this to a pair. I only want 2 of these to show up at a time. Any more than that, and they're just going to massacre anything they see. They're already going to be really nasty. Dex is going to be +5, so his initiative's actually going to be a +10. Okay, so then I talked about what I wanted to do. Oops. Okay, what? Oh. Yeah. The little question marks, exclamation points, or whatever. Armor class. Armor class is going to be a 20. He is not easy to hit. Let's see, there's that. CR, this one is more of a CR9. Bumping up all of those stats, bumping up the damage. That all pretty much covers all of that. Back to what we were looking at here. The one thing I wanted to add was I wanted to add some sort of a poison to their attack. I'm going to add Shadow Step and then Poisonous Touch. And what that'll do is it'll be I'll add this Poison Katana and Poison Wakizashi. The poison will be 1d6 plus. I'm only going to add I'm going to add another d6 of poison damage. The reason I'm only doing 1d6 is because poison sticks around. They're going to have to save for it repeatedly. I'm going to have to go down here to where it says Shadow Step, and I'm going to have to add another line. 16. Or take 1d6 poison damage per round until save is made. Anyway, that kind of pretty much covers the basics of. I'll leave it at 40 feet. Armor class is a little bit higher. He's a little harder to hit. He hits a little harder. He's a little faster. Size is the same. It takes more to kill it. Sneak attack, it'll do more sneak attack. Its attack will cause some poison when it hits, so that'll be an extra complication. Only runs in pairs because you don't want to have like 3 or 4 of these attacking at the party. They'll just kill them. Even with a level 15 character where the average character has somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 hit points, it's just not a good. It doesn't look good. So that's a good start. The next thing for this is to look at some of the other. There was one other monster type that I wanted to utilize, and this one was one I wanted to be very kind of careful about. I don't want it to be essentially I want it to be kind of a mini boss. And so as a mini boss, I want it to be something special. So I actually have planned to pull in some of the actual Bloodspeaker talents and feats and things like that and give this to this guy to make him kind of a nasty guy. For now, I'm going to go ahead and, oops, that was not what I wanted to do. I want to copy, and then we want to go to our Photos tab, and we'll go back here to there because it's off-centered. Much smaller picture than the others. But I'm going to call this one, I think I want to do something a little special with him. I'm going to call him Construct of Blood and Shadow. Now, for these guys, I'm gonna make him solitary. I want to make him a large creature. I'm gonna give him. Well, let's go ahead and, for balancing purposes, let's look at the Blood Speakers. Go to where is some of the monsters here. Okay, I actually want to do these guys instead. I'll go back to the second page for sanity's sake, and then we're looking at all of these things. This is what we're really looking for. I'm going to go to only the Shadowlands. Go to 181. The Oni, common Onis, combat. So the Onis are essentially the demons and the spirits of Oriental culture. And as you can see, they have some really kind of insane stats, which is the goal. This is a creature we want to be nasty. And these are the evil ones. Are these other guys? As you can see, like here's a CR9 guy. He's got 8d6, 8d8 plus 16 hit points. Doesn't have quite the initiative that gave some of the other guys, but that's okay. Some of these guys are really nasty, and they're all kind of gross as far as appearance. But what we really want to look at is these large ones. The Kumo no Oni and the Ugulu no Oni. I may be mispronouncing them, but that's kind of the best I've got at the moment anyway. So these guys have spell-like abilities, Fear Aura, Damage Reduction. These all have Damage Reduction, and that's something that I'm going to play with. I'm going to give this guy Damage Reduction. I'm going to give him a bunch of really cool shit and just make him terrifying. Also going to give him probably this larger amount of, as you can see, all of these guys have like damage reduction abilities. Regen 5. 3.5 was just notoriously rough as far as like the kind of damage that they would have, that things are able to inflict. So, first things first, we're gonna go ahead and go with that 4. I think I am gonna go with a 12d8. I want this to be a challenge, and I want it to be something that you can throw at them more than once. And the first time it scares the shit out of them, and then after that they have this chance to kind of work through things and figure it out. So this guy, I'm going to give him plus 16. At 12d8, he is going to have an average of about, actually, it's 30. I'm going to go ahead, he's going to have an average of about 87 hit points. Dex, he is actually going to be a bit on the slower side. Speed, I'm leaving him the 40 feet because he's a large. Armor class, I'm going to go ahead and give him a 21 armor class. And I'm going to justify that with -1 size. Dex. Dex, which I don't know what that's going to be yet. But I know it's going to be a plus. I'm going to estimate it at a +2. And then natural. It doesn't have a comma. Natural plus. Fine. And that's how that works. I always liked the fact that in 3.5 they explained how that worked. I'm going to leave the attacks empty. Again, I'm going to come back to those. I am going to switch off this game soon, or off this right now. I'm going to give this guy a 10-foot reach, so he can reach out the fuck and just smack things. I'm going to go down to special here. This is special qualities. I actually goofed. And this should have been up here to begin with. So, for the basics on that, what we're looking at is let's see. So what we want to do is go ahead, just real quick, I'm going to leave these abilities empty. What I'll do for now is I'm going to put in Blood Seeker / Oni. And that'll help me remind me what I want to do. Fortitude or saves, we're going to look at what these guys' saves are on average for other things. Looks like average saves anywhere from a +8 to a +15. Given the givens, I'm going to go give this thing a plus 12 fortitude, plus 8 reflex, plus 14. Helps if you put the little thingy in there. Plus 12, 8, plus 14. There. So he's very sturdy. He's able to withstand a lot of that kind of stuff. We want that. We want him to be very strong. This is going to be a large creature. Strengths anywhere from 18 to 25 are pretty common in this size category. I'm going to give him a 20. His dex, I'm going to give him I needed a plus 2, so he needs to be a 14. Ability con, we're actually going to give him a huge constitution bonus. Put it at an 18 as well. Intelligence, this is not the smartest creature, but it's not a stupid creature either. I'm actually going to give him a 14 intelligence as well. Wisdom, that's where we're going to cut it back and probably put it at an 8. He's not the wisest. He's able to interpret things around him, but he's not necessarily the most tactically sound. And charisma is unfortunately kind of a dump stat, but I'm going to go ahead and throw in a 10. And that's probably actually where I'm going to leave this. We do want to put solitary here. This is going to be a CR. The goal to make this is going to make this a CR 13. CR 13. Approximately the size of an Oni. These we want to do control right because those are all the same. I don't know what that is. Oh, I do know what that is. That's that changing, automatically changing all that stuff. So we want to go ahead and go back up here. Right. Oops. No. Stop that. Right. Justify it all. That way everything goes to the right. 40 feet. Keep things consistent. This thing's going to be doing a lot of damage. So that's a good start. Hopefully that gives us a good kind of headway beginning. Hopefully that helped a little bit as far as planning is concerned. If you thought about anything, if there's anything that you might consider or think is different or have another idea, I love ideas. I love the ideas. I had a friend, I was talking to him, and he just kind of randomly just spit out this idea that what if dragons were actually angels, and so when the dragons fell to when the angel fell to the earth, it became a dragon, and there was this whole idea that he just kind of spat out, and it just came out of just the blue. And sometimes you don't think about things like that. Sometimes it's great to take that moment of creativity and just love on it and just embrace that entirely. It's not always an option, but it is definitely something that I love. So if there's any possibility of any other ideas, I'm 100% game. I really would love to hear them, and I would really love to see what else people come up with. But in the meantime, thank you all again for coming and helping kind of get this all situated. All right, well, see you in a few. I'm going to keep rambling if I don't.